everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to my middle school and talking about my story with depression, suicidal thoughts, and anxiety. And honestly, I just need you guys to really watch this. This video is going to mean a lot to me. And it really talks about some deep subjects about myself, and I do answer some questions at the end of the video. I know I'm filming this intro after I already did the whole speaking thing because I accidentally deleted my other intro that I did. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy this because this is really meaningful to me, and I had a lot of fun going and speaking to everybody and seeing everyone's reactions. So if you guys like these kinds of videos, I'm probably going to do more of like the longer style videos because I enjoy making those more, honestly. So yeah, catch you later. Are you gonna say something, or you just...
You want me to say something?
Yeah, say something. Speech!
Well,
Speech!
as I said yesterday, we have a guest speaker here today. This is Hunter Garvey. If you don't know her,
Yes.
Yeah.
You bought me a donut at Gathering Grounds one time.
Oh
I remember that.
That's right!
Everyone knows. Kind heart.
okay, so
Aw.
I'm glad you just said that because that's a really big reason why she is here. Because on the outside, we see how successful she was in high school, and academically, athletically, very talented, musician, all that kind of stuff. And with that, she still had a lot of stuff that she was dealing with, and is, honestly, still dealing with. So, and that's not. I want to say, I say that because even though somebody might appear to have it all together, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know or we don't see, and that's why it's important, especially at your age, to kind of like find ways to cope with that stuff. So hopefully by hearing her story, I got a lot of good questions from you guys that we can, hopefully if you're somebody here that's got something going on, you're able to find something to help you. And yeah, we need.
What time is this for you over?
8:26. I'll write the
You
schedule
have
on there.
26 minutes.
Yeah,
You got about a half hour.
Alright. Well, like you said, my name's Hunter. I graduated last year, and I'm a freshman at Kent State, and yeah, I'm in college now, woohoo. So pretty much like you said, I'm here to tell you my story about depression, like suicidal thoughts, anxiety, all that. My story does deal with some deep and like possibly triggering things like bullying, relationship and mental abuse, and sexual harassment. So if you have to leave at any time, like don't hesitate to do so, like nobody's gonna stop you. Raise your hand if you've known somebody that has gone through depression or is currently going through depression. So pretty much everyone. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that depression is actually a lot more common than people think, and depression is very, very serious, and it can affect anybody. It does not discriminate, and yeah, so a little bit of background about me. Growing up, I was a tomboy who loved to play football. I liked hanging out with guys more than girls. I was a very carefree child. Like, I literally did not care what people like thought of me or anything. I was just very out there. And one day I was sitting in the parent pickup line, and it was 4th grade, so I was a little 9-year-old. This girl walks up to me and she just randomly pushes me into a mud puddle, and I'm just like, okay. I was doing martial arts at the time, like I was going for my black belt soon, like I'm not gonna let this girl mess with me. So the next day, I pushed her back in the same mud puddle, and she actually got up and she looked at me dead in the eyes and she goes, "You're going to regret that for the rest of your life." And not gonna lie, I did. I really did, because from 4th through 6th grade, 3 years in a row, every single day, they would just bully me with 2 other girls. Like, they pushed me into lockers. They called me a slut all the time because I hung out with just guys. They told me that I was a mistake, that no one loved me, that I should just kill myself. My parents didn't love me. They tried to trip me like in the hallways, and that went on every single day for 3 years straight. And I just decided to defend myself one day in 6th grade. So I was like 11 years old at this time. And I was in art class with Mrs. Hoffman, and she was out of the room at the time. It was before class started. And she said something to me, the girl, and I stuck up for myself, and I called her a name or something, and she goes, "What did you just say to me?" And I said it again, and she pushed me over a desk and the desk actually flipped on top of me, and I was on the ground, and everyone in the class just started laughing at me and just was like pointing at me, laughing. Nobody tried to help me, and she looks at me and she goes, "Look around, no one cares about you. You should just go kill yourself." And she, like, that really cut deep, because being a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, like, you don't really think like depression's a real thing. You just feel sad all the time. And that's kind of how I was. I was scared to go to school. I wasn't motivated to do anything. Like, I was scared, like, what they were going to do to me next. I'm like, am I going to get pushed into a locker? Am I going to get tripped? Am I going to get, like, called a slut again? Like, what's going to happen to me? So at 1 a.m. that night, I was crying, like, all night, could not sleep. And I decided, like, I can't take this anymore. I just want to die. Like, maybe they're right. Maybe nobody cares about me. Maybe nobody loves me. So I went into my kitchen and I grabbed a big, like, butcher knife, like, looking thing, and I just held it to my chest, and I just started, like, pushing in, and I actually got a little cut on my shirt from doing that. And then I just decided to stop myself just out of a whim, and I was like, no, this is stupid. Why am I letting these people, like make me feel this way? Like, this isn't right. So the next day, of course I was scared again. I didn't know what was gonna happen. And I was sitting in math class, and there was a girl that sat behind me, and she was like, "Hey, what happened yesterday?" And that was my first ever anxiety attack. And I was like, I just started bawling my eyes out just in the middle of math class. And my teacher ended up having to take me out into the hallway and, like, ask me what's going on. And then the teacher that was next door, like, came out and helped me. I went and told the principal, and they only got 1 detention for 3 years of bullying and all of that. And that still was something to me, even though it was just 1 detention. And you guys are probably like, really? After 3 years of that, like, they only gave her a detention? And they didn't do anything to the other 2 girls that did it. But it was still a little victory for me, because I actually felt like I was empowered. So in middle school, 7th grade, I experienced bullying for 3 years. So I was like, like, I bet things can't get worse. But I experienced something that's completely different, which is, like, relationship and mental abuse and, like, manipulation and sexual harassment. So I dated a guy that was in 8th grade while I was in 7th grade, and we were friends in elementary school growing up, but we started dating because we had a bet with each other, and the bet was either we date now or we date in high school, and I won the bet, so we dated in middle school. He was very manipulative, and he messed with my head, like, a lot. He would try to test me. We would go to this honors choir event, and he got this girl's number. And I was like, why are you getting this girl's number when we're dating? Like, that's not okay. And he was like, oh, I'm just trying to see how jealous you're gonna get. Like, why are you getting so jealous? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you insecure or something? Like, he would treat me very, very bad. Like, he would always talk down on me. But then he'd, like, praise me later in the day. Like, he'd call me annoying or loud, or, like, you're, like, really, really, like, insecure in yourself. You need to get some confidence. You need to stop relying on me. And then later in the day, he's like, oh, I love you. Like, I want to see, like, date you in high school and, like, all that. And it just really messed with me, because it felt like I was doing something wrong when I wasn't. Like, it wasn't my fault. That's how I was feeling. He did manipulate me mentally, but he also tried to see how far he could get with me physically, and he forced me to have my first kiss with him. It was on his birthday, actually, and he, like, actually, like, pushed me up against a bookshelf because we were in a bookstore, and he was just like, please, please, it's my birthday, I want to kiss you, like, please. And obviously I kept saying, no, I don't want to do that, I'm too young, I'm not ready. And he ended up actually forcing me to have my first kiss, and of course I didn't like that at all. Like, I felt very disgusting. He tried to touch my inner thigh, like, a lot, and he'd try to, like, slowly touch higher, and, like, I'd push his hand away, and he was like, oh, don't you love me? Like, why aren't you letting me do this, kind of a thing. And I was 12 at the time, just keep in mind that this is going on. So he would try to pressure me to keep doing more and more. Like, after I kissed him, he like the next day he was like, so when are we gonna make out? When are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do that? And I'm like, I don't know. And we were even at lunch with my mom, and we were sitting next to each other, and he just started touching my leg in front of my mom. Like he didn't care like what my parents thought or anything. He would just try to touch me, and I was very uncomfortable. So the day we broke up, we were walking out to the buses together, and I tried to give him a hug, and he pushed me really like so hard that I almost fell to the ground, and he goes, "Oh my God, you are so annoying, get away from me already." Like, I was so embarrassed, because it was in front of everybody, like going on to the buses to go home. So later that day, he said that we needed to break up, and I actually found out like my freshman or sophomore year in high school that he cheated on me with the girl that he got the number from, Honor Squire. So that just really like opened a new like door to like what other pain could feel like. Like I experienced bullying and stuff, which is pretty direct, but like manipulation and stuff, you can't really tell that it's happening to you until like after it's over. And just experiencing that just really devastated me, because like I really cared about him, and I just felt like an object to him, and it sucked. So going into high school, going into freshman year, it was probably the worst year of my life, and this is where it all goes down. So I was in cross country. That's how I knew everybody in the send-off. But there was one time where we were doing a team bonding event, and there was a senior when I was a freshman. So he was like 17, I was still 14, and we were swimming at our team bonding, and he started like trying to shove his hand down my bikini like bottoms. Like he tried to like shove his hand down my like, and I pushed him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then I tried to swim away, and he grabbed my ankle, and he dragged it back towards me and tried to force my legs around him. And we were in shallow enough water, I actually hit him like in the balls. And I ran to the bathroom. And I felt so violated, and like I've never been forced to do something like that, and I was crying so hard in the bathroom, and I was like so scared to tell anybody, because I felt like no one was gonna believe me. I got really scared. And then later, like in the year, he kept asking me for nudes. He kept like trying to get stuff out of me, and we weren't even dating or anything. We were just friends. So I ended up ignoring him for a while after that happened, and then homecoming came around, which is like the dance that everybody goes to in the fall, whatever. So like there was another senior that I did cross country with, and he came up to me and asked me to dance, and I was like, "Oh, I know what that means. You're trying to grind with me, and I don't want to do that, because no." And my friend who was with me like didn't know like what he meant by that, and she was like, "Oh, come on, just go dance with him." And she actually pushed me into him, and he grabbed my wrist and dragged me into the middle of a circle and like forced himself onto me. And after about like 5-10 seconds, I turned around and like, "No, I'm not doing this." And I actually like I was never like manipulated like physically like that before, to be forced to do stuff against my will, and it really made me feel helpless. And I was like, well, now the thing of bonding happened, and now this happened, like what's next? And it just kept getting worse and worse. So there was a girl that was a sophomore, so 10th grade, when I was a freshman, and she was actually best friends with the guy I dated in middle school. And she is very fake. She would try to learn everything about you and then spread a bunch of rumors about you, and I didn't know that. So she gained my trust by just saying like, "Hey, like we have so much in common, like your like ex told me like all these things that happened to you in elementary school, and like I want to know if like you're okay, like do you want to talk about it?" And like she seemed pretty sincere, so I ended up telling her everything that happened like in elementary school, what happened with him, and then I ended up telling her what happened at the cross country bonding and at homecoming, so she knew everything about me. So the next day, I go into school, and like everybody was just kind of looking at me, and they were all like whispering to each other and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is everybody looking at me and like judging me? And my friend, like one of my best friends at the time, ran up to me and was like, "Are the rumors true?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she was just like, "Is it true that you did this, and they are very inappropriate, like very, very inappropriate. I don't think it's appropriate for me to say, but think of the worst thing sexually, and that's probably been said about me. And like one of them was like, I was in a student-teacher relationship, which is not true. And like a lot of things involving my ex sexually was said when I didn't do anything like that. And I was like, this isn't true, like how do you guys like believe them? But of course, since she was more popular than me, since she was older than me, everybody believed her and her lies, and nobody believed me, so I was left defenseless, and just nobody trusted me anymore, nobody believed me. So I would sit alone at lunch, I would sit alone like in the beginning of the school day, like we would sit in the cafeteria, I'd sit by myself in the corner. And I really internalized everything, which is not good, because at this point I knew what depression was, so I was like able to like recognize like, yeah, I'm probably depressed right now, I kind of want to die every day. Like I literally started thinking about my past trauma, because that affected me so much in the past that it kind of came back into my mind. And I'm like, see, now I have no friends, so maybe they were right back then. Maybe nobody cares about me. And I just started like going down in this deeper hole, talking myself down. But I was scared to get help because I was afraid of getting judged. I was afraid of being embarrassed. I was very, very scared that nobody would believe me, because every time I tried to talk to somebody, they're like, no, I'm not listening to you. That's not true. You are a slut, and stuff like that. And like, I cried myself to sleep every single night again. And every time I took a shower, I'd take the razor and I'd hold it to my wrist. I never self-harmed, but there's times I've been very close. I actually started thinking about killing myself over the summer. And I wrote a suicide note, actually, in the summer when I was going to go through with a plan. And ended up in June 21st of 2016, I was at a track camp in Ashland, and it was like the day before I was actually going to go commit suicide, and because this was like the last day of the camp or something. And I quit cross country that year because I knew I was going to kill myself. So I sat alone during my lunch break, and he actually walked up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to talk or whatever? Like, are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay at all." And we actually went outside, and we had a long, long talk. And I was bawling my eyes out, of course, like just explaining everything that happened to me. And he was just, you were so helpful to me, and like he literally saved my life. Like, I would not be here today if it weren't for him. And like, I literally give all the credit to him pretty much. So thank you. Yeah. So that's pretty much my story. That was pretty much the baseline of things. I didn't want to go too much into detail because it's like really bad, but I still struggle with anxiety and depression like here and there today. But I'm so thankful for the lessons like my past has taught me, and I kind of feel more like stronger as a person and more passionate to help other people going through struggles. So I'm actually studying psychology right now, and I'm going to earn my PhD, which is like the best you can get in either clinical psychology or counseling psychology. And I'm going to open my own business, hopefully here in Huron, so I can help people. And like how I'm doing today, I'm planning on speaking around hopefully the country, but right now I'm focusing on like just the district, so like just to tell my story and like help people, because I try to be as real and down to earth with everyone as possible, and I try to be kind and forgiving, because you don't know what someone's going through. And if there's anything I want you guys to take away from this, is like these three things. 1, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. If you believe something is wrong, say something about it. Your opinion is valued and you will be listened to. Number 2, practice what you preach. If you say you want to be real or kind or helpful, don't just say it, just do it. Life is too short to hold grudges and be hurtful towards one another, so we all have struggles, so don't be the person to add to somebody else's struggles. Number 3, ask for help. Please, please, please ask for help. I know it's scary to reach out. I know you might think it's embarrassing, but I know it's cliche, but you are not alone. Someone out there believes in you, and if you don't think that somebody believes in you, just know that I believe in you. Thank you. Hey everyone, I'm back in my car now, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I actually have a big stack of questions that they asked me. It's actually really, really cool to like read and like see what people think and stuff. So I'm actually gonna answer some of these, and hopefully like it kind of answers some of your guys' questions. So, how did you cope with having suicidal thoughts? How did you push them away? What if I'm scared or embarrassed to reach out for help? What should I do? So, I didn't really cope with having suicidal thoughts. I kind of just like lived my life wanting to die all the time, and I didn't really cope with it very well. I just couldn't really handle life, and I didn't really push them away. I more like kind of subdue them with like activities and stuff. But honestly, like I was scared and embarrassed to reach out for help too. So it's completely normal to be scared and embarrassed to reach out. But I don't think you should be like anybody anyone's like willing to listen and try to help. So I think that you should try to go find somebody that you trust. So like either a friend, a trusted adult, maybe a parent, older sibling, like anybody. Like you can even talk to me about it. Like I'd talk to anybody. So yeah, that's what I think. That's the first question. What are you thankful for? Is there a lot of pressure to be successful? I'm thankful for the people that I have in my life right now, and I'm thankful for just being alive. I'm thankful for Mr. L for helping me, and especially my parents for being so supportive of me. And I'm thankful that I did stay alive because I know what it's like to have a friend commit suicide, and I know how my life is now, and it kind of puts things into perspective. Like if I would have killed myself, like this is kind of how they would feel if I was gone, and it just kind of gave me like a good representation of what that would be like. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure to be successful because growing up I was always like pretty successful. Like I was like academic wise, like graduated with a 3.9 GPA. I made it to state 3 years in a row for track, and then 1 year for cross country. I was very, very musically talented. People always saw that, everything going for me and stuff. So I always felt pressure to keep succeeding. I was afraid to fail because like I didn't want to like disappoint anybody. So that's pretty much how I felt pressure doing that. At about what age did you have bad thoughts, like suicidal thoughts and depression maybe? I was 9 years old. I was diagnosed with depression at 9 years old. When I went to my therapist, I explained how I went through everything or whatever, and she was like, yeah, I would have diagnosed you with depression when you were 9. So I've had depression for about 9 years now, but it's on and off more. Like it's not like 9 years straight. Like there's some moments where I have like episodes of depression, but like it's not all the time. Definitely not all the time. Did you feel embarrassed to talk about it with someone at first? Yeah, I definitely felt embarrassed to talk to somebody because like I was afraid like no one would listen to me, nobody would believe me, I would be stupid. Like I didn't really enjoy like myself as a person. I literally hated myself, and I didn't have the greatest self-esteem, so I didn't really like want to talk about it because I was afraid people were going to judge me. Who did you first tell? I told my parents when I was being bullied and stuff, but I never mentioned that I was depressed. I mentioned that I was depressed to Mr. L, my health teacher, and my track coach, but then I mentioned it to my parents because I was always scared to tell my parents because I didn't want them to be like, what the heck is wrong with you or anything. But they were actually very, very supportive about it, and they're still very supportive about it. They check in on me all the time, and they make sure I'm okay. Did you think it would ever go away? I didn't think it would go away. Like, at the time, I was like, it's not gonna go away, it's not gonna get any better. Like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Like, this, I don't know why. Like, I just kept asking those kinds of questions. But, now that I know what my triggers are and stuff, I know that I know how to make it go away, I know how to cope with it, and, it definitely is never gonna go away, because it, like, everybody kind of goes through depression at one point in their life. But I don't think it ever really goes away. I don't think anybody is like completely happy all the time. So What made you think of suicidal thoughts? Obviously my story, the bullying and like all the sexual harassment and stuff was just, it was a lot. How hard was it for you to get through school having suicidal thoughts? It affected it, like, okay, it affected it, but it wasn't, like, so bad that I was failing classes, not doing homework and stuff. Like, I still do my homework, I still went to school and stuff, but there were some times I couldn't really concentrate because I was just so upset and so sad and so scared. So, I guess it wasn't terribly hard because I had sports and music to back up on, but, yeah. How did you react to your suicidal thoughts? I was scared. I was very, very scared. I was like, why? Nobody should feel like they want to die. Like, it really, really scared me. I'm still kind of scared that I'm gonna, like, go through something like that again, and I just don't want to do that because, it's been so long since I've had suicidal thoughts. Like, it's been, like, 5 years now. Yeah, about 4 or 5 years now, so I'm just trying to stay on a good path. What did your friends and family do to support you? My friends and family were very supportive of me, and they just made sure to keep checking on me, and they let me talk about it if I needed to talk about it. They were very, very kind about it and very understanding, and they even admitted that they had problems eventually and stuff like that, so that really helped. Were your close friends there for you? Yeah, they were very, very there for me. They were very, very supportive, and they had my back. Like, if somebody was, like, making fun of me or something, they would have my back, and they'd, kind of like tell that person to be quiet, shut up, like, who are you talking to, kind of a thing. And so it's really good to have friends like that because they really, really help me. Was suicide the only thing on your mind at the time? No. I feel like people have a misconception about what suicidal thoughts are. Suicidal thoughts aren't just like, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself, like, over and over. It's more like just hating yourself and then wanting to get rid of the pain, kind of a thing. So I didn't just think about suicide. I also thought about how I hated myself, how I was scared, like how I just didn't want the pain anymore, and just like stuff like that. What made you stop thinking about suicide? After I started talking to people about it and not internalizing it anymore, it kind of made me more confident in myself to actually like speak about it and actually like broadcast it and kind of make it known that people like of like any kind can go through depression. So I guess that's kind of what made me stop. Does life get easier? Unfortunately, no. I'm gonna be honest, life does not get easier. Something's always gonna be in your way, and that's just kind of how life is. Like, you're not gonna be happy all the time, you're not gonna have everything in the world that you want. People are always going to be saying stuff behind your back, stuff like that, and it just depends on how you react to it, and, like, because you can't control, like, what other people say about you and how they feel about you, so all you can really do is just go on with your life and realize your worth, and realize that, hey, I'm an actual really good person, like, I'm not going to let what people say about me affect me. Let's see. What are the best ways to balance sports, school, and friendships as a student? So when I was in high school, I was in marching band, concert band, pep band. I played in the orchestra for musical. I was in the musical at one point. I did choir, I did our a cappella group, I did track, indoor track, basketball, cross country. I did a lot of stuff, but I was also in honors classes and college classes all throughout high school, and I graduated with a 3.9, and all my friends were pretty much, like, made through band, choir, track, cross-country, all that. So I kind of hung out with them, like, during practice or, like, after practice sometimes or over the weekend, like, after meets and stuff like that. And we'd have team bonding, stuff like that. So that's kind of, like, how I hung out with my friends. But with school, I always tried to get my schoolwork done right when I got it assigned to me, like, my senior year. But, like, I used to procrastinate a lot, and I didn't do very well balancing it. I don't know, I've always been pretty good at time management, and I could be better, but I have been getting better at it, and now I have, like, a lot of free time to do what I want to do. Like, I can go work out, I can make YouTube videos, like, I can do stuff like that, like, stuff that I really enjoy, and, like, yeah. How did you cope with your problems? Again, like, I kind of try to, like, dive into music, dive into something that I was very passionate about, and, that kind of helped me, like, find happiness within myself, and it kind of made me find coping mechanisms for that. How long did it last? I mean, it still goes on. Like, it's off and on, like I said. I've had it since I was 9, so, I mean, 9 years, like, it's a pretty long time to feel down on yourself all the time, but, like, it's
on and off. Like, I don't feel suicidal anymore. Like, it lasted a year. Like, suicidal thoughts lasted, like, about a year my freshman year, and then 3 years in elementary school, so. What were some of the obstacles that you went through? Trying to get somebody to believe me, actually believing in myself, finding confidence within myself again, trying to be happy, just trying not to let people affect me. Like, I still struggle with it. Like, I still am super sensitive to things, and I still try to be my own person and not listen to what other people have to say about me and all that, but I still struggle with it. Everybody does. So nobody's gonna fully not care about what people say. Like, I feel like people want to have a good vision of themselves, so I don't really think, like, anybody's gonna truly be happy. So, yeah, those are some of the obstacles. How old were you when your problems occurred? Again, I said I was 9 when they started happening, so, yeah. So my question is, how did you cope with your stress when you were in middle school, and what were some ways you handled your stress? So, my stress didn't really occur in middle school. It happened more freshman year of high school and 4th through 6th grade. So, I didn't really cope with it very well, actually. Like, I just kept it to myself. I cried myself to sleep every night. I didn't hang out with anybody, really, because I felt like nobody liked me, nobody cared, nobody wanted to talk to me. Like, this is kind of how I felt. So, now with stress, I just kind of, like, dealt with it by, like, just diving into music again. Like, music and running and hurdling, stuff like that. Just, that really helped me, like, get rid of that stress, kind of, and, like, subdue it a little bit. So that's kind of how I handled it. It was, like, finding things that I like to do and that I'm passionate about and that I would like to get better at, and then kind of, like, spend some time doing that. What made you become depressed? Just everybody not believing me and, like, being bullied all the time and going through that and just being manipulated all the time and just being very naive and very, very, open to people. Like, I'm very open and very inclusive to people, so people kind of use that niceness and, kind of, like, vulnerability to their advantage, and they like to use me and manipulate me, and kind of, like, I'm kind of like the scapegoat for a lot of things, because since I'm so open, so yeah, kind of how I became depressed. What caused all of the stress? Again, bullying, all of that stuff. Did you tell anyone at first? I made my parents aware that things were happening, but I would never told them, like, straight up that I was depressed or anything. But I did tell Mr. L, my health teacher, at some point, and then I told my parents. What made you become happy again? My sophomore year of high school was actually the best year of my life. It still is, in my opinion. I'm very, very happy. I was very happy because, like, I just came out of depression, and I actually had people that cared about me and they wanted to be around me, and they were very real people, and then they graduated, and then I got kind of back into a little, like, negative loop, but never, like, depression, but, like, a little negative loop. I definitely lost some friends. But yeah. How did you handle all of this? Again, just hobbies, music, stuff like that. How are you so successful? What are some ways to make me work harder and become more successful? I have a really, 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 really good work ethic. I work very, very hard at everything I do. I put 100% into everything I do. I don't like to fail. I don't want to disappoint anybody, or I don't want to disappoint myself, because I have such high standards for myself. So I honestly just try to be the best version of myself, and especially being passionate in something really helps. So I guess I started believing in myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to do this. Like, and I became successful because I worked hard at it. So my word of advice is to find something that you're passionate in, work hard at it, do some research about it if you're really that passionate about it, and you'll be successful. Start early, too. That helps, too. What was the moment in your life when you felt the worst, and how were you able to overcome that? My freshman year of high school was definitely the worst I've ever felt. I was able to overcome that by talking to people about it and actually reaching out for help and going to therapy. That really helps. Therapy's kind of underrated. People were scared to go to therapy because they were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to act like something's wrong with me. But really, you're just going to talk to somebody. You're going to talk to a professional. Like, they can actually give you some good advice and actually help. And I don't think it's wrong to go to therapy at all. So, yeah, my freshman year of high school, and I overcame that by talking to people. what is the main way you deal with stress, anxiety, and depression? Getting involved with hobbies, getting involved with friends, just going to hang out with people, watching YouTube videos, making YouTube videos, playing music, running, working out, lifting, stuff like that. Just anything, like any of my hobbies. How do you stay positive during rough times? Honestly, when I first started going through like depression, suicidal thoughts, and all that, I wasn't very positive at all. Like nobody really is. But since I have dealt with that and I have gone through it, like now I realize like, hey, like I know what my triggers are, but when I accidentally trigger them, I know how to fix it, and I realize like it's only temporary and that it's not gonna last forever. Like it's gonna be okay. Like it might last a long time sometimes, but it'll be okay eventually. How do you deal with social feedback, negative and positive? Negative social feedback, I used to not deal with it very well. I still don't really deal with it very well. People talking behind my back all the time, like, that really sucks, because I don't feel like I do anything really wrong to hurt people. I just kind of be myself, and I'm very honest and open, and people kind of, like, take that as me being, like, rude and, like, upfront and just judgmental, and that's not how I try to come off. So hearing that negative, like, social feedback and, like, seeing people shoot me dirty looks or talking behind my back really hurts. But I just started to realize, like, okay, well, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm real. There's a lot of fake people nowadays, and I, like, see myself as a more real, down-to-earth person and just very honest and upfront. And I feel like there needs to be more people like that in the world, like, just more honest people. Like, I honestly have a lot of friends that are very, very honest and upfront with me, and I like that because it makes me a better person. It makes me realize my mistakes. But with positive social feedback, I try not to get to my, like, let it get to my head or anything. I try not to be cocky about it or anything, because I've had successes, like, in high school and stuff, like, with track, music, all that, academic-wise. I don't want people to think, like, I'm being cocky or I'm acting like I'm the best in the world, because I'm definitely not. I know there's better people out there than me, and I know a lot of people that are very cocky, and they're really not the best, but, like, that's a really big pet peeve of mine when people are cocky and they don't deserve to be cocky, kind of a thing. Like, I don't know, I just try to avoid that, but it does make me feel a lot better about myself when I hear positive, like, social feedback and stuff, and I know that people like me and that they enjoy my company, or they enjoy my advice, they enjoy my talks and stuff. Like, it just makes me feel like a good person, because I feel like I'm actually fulfilling what I want to do in life. If you could go back and change one thing about your middle school / high school years, what would you change? I would change how I react to things, because I used to overreact. I still kind of overreact to everything, but not everything, but, like, certain things. So I just wish I didn't have such a short temper, and that I wasn't so defensive, and I just kind of wish that I actually, like, didn't take myself so seriously, because I have such high expectations for myself and for other people in my life that they're kind of unreasonable at some points, and especially with my friends. I have, like, high expectations for my relationships, but they're not super high, because I know, like, people mess up and stuff, and I'm gonna love somebody for who they are. And but, like, with my friends, like, I want to have good friends, because, like, no offense, but friendships usually last longer. You usually have friends before relationships, so I kind of take friendships more to heart at first, and then obviously relationships are the most meaningful to me. But yeah, I just wish I wouldn't, like, overreact to everything and have such high standards for people, because I kind of use my past trauma as an excuse to have high standards so I don't get hurt again, and that's not good, because it's unreasonable, and people aren't, everybody's human, so it's impossible to not make mistakes. Like, I even make mistakes, so everybody makes mistakes. What was the hardest thing that you went through in your life? Literally every time I walk into a room and everybody just, like, judges me, or, like, I'm in a room full of people and I feel alone, that's definitely the hardest thing you have to go through, like, I had to go through in life. Like, there were times where I went to, like, I would walk into class and people would just, like, stare at me and go, and just, like, give me looks and stuff, or I would just hear people talking behind my back, and, like people that I thought were my friends and stuff. Like, that is definitely the hardest thing that I had to go through in life. The sexual harassment stuff, I was never raped or anything, so, like, the sexual harassment stuff, even though it happened at a younger age, I still don't think that was, like, the worst thing I've ever went through in life, because it was kind of, like, a short time period when talking behind people's backs and hearing, like, negative things about you kind of happens for, like, months and months on end, or, like, maybe even an entire year. That's what happened to me my freshman year, and it's just, like, it's really hard, to listen to that. Did you make bad choices while going through your issues? I mean, there was a time where I almost cut, but I never did, thank God. I guess lashing out at people was kind of like the main bad choice of mine. Like, I kind of had, like, a little chip on my shoulder because I went through all of this pain and, like, you have to be good to me kind of a thing. I kind of went through a phase like that, and that's not good. Like, I regret that a lot. I'm not like that anymore. That was kind of like how I was my freshman year of high school, like, towards the end of it. But, yeah, I honestly, like, really regret being rude to people and lashing out at people because of my pain. Like, I regret that a lot, but that was just me being in pain, and nobody really realized that, and it sucked, and all I wanted to do was have people, like, ask me if I'm okay, and nobody did, and nobody, like, really recognized that I was in pain and that I was hurting, and I always felt like if I killed myself today, like, nobody would care, like, kind of a thing. And I never turned to drugs or alcohol or anything. I've never done a drug, never drank alcohol before in my life. I probably won't. And, yeah, so I guess that's the only bad decision is, like, just treating people badly because of my own pain. So, yeah, those are all the questions I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is really meaningful to me to make, and I got really good reactions out of it. A lot of people, like, gave me hugs after. A lot of people, like, just, like, had a good reaction to it. They all listened. They're all very good. So I actually told them about my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this, like, and you guys, like, listen to my story, thank you so much. Like, you guys mean the world to me. Like, it means so much that you guys actually listen to me, because that was my biggest fear, is that you guys were just not gonna take it seriously or anything. But you guys were so good, and you guys made me so happy to actually have a good reaction out of it. And you guys had some amazing questions, and that really made me think. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to try to come back next semester for the second semester middle school classes, and maybe even the high school again. So I'm really excited. So thank you guys for watching so much. If you like it, please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And see you guys in the next one.